Hello, everybody. Have you noticed that the games that you used to love and used to play a lot were so much different than the games now? For example, there wasn't this kind of pressure to get the latest gear or get the latest skins or, I don't know, having the best computer around or something. I think maybe my memory just makes the things better in my mind, but for example, the microtransactions were never available. You could just put on a game and just start playing it. Is it that somehow the games that we used to play, in at least in my generation, they were, yes, they were simpler by technology, but at the same time, were they more honest about it? I don't know, because at the same time, when I was buying games for Amiga or PC, you would kind of have to go buy some couple magazine articles or just whatever looked cool on the box in the shelf of the computer store. And there wasn't, for example, this playing with other people element on it. You would play by yourself, and you didn't have to have like internet connection. You didn't have to have updates. You would just play the game. So maybe that what gives those games a little bit like how would you say, a different kind of life rather than the games that are now, in my opinion, more like songs in Spotify that you kind of pick and choose what you want from a huge library of things, and it's very easy to say, "Oh, this is bad. This is absolute bullshit. I don't want to play this." When in fact, it might be perfectly decent game, but at the same time, it's missing something. Like, I don't know, like it has what could be a bad multiplayer game or something, but it's like, if you think about Tetris, for example, how is it possible that a game like that is still considered one of, like, in, how would you say, like, play in a game, who is the best? And there was just recently about the kid who beat the AI or the game engine completely. I don't know. I don't see games today being this kind of how would you say, this kind of like lifespan that somebody, well, maybe there was like a CS:GO or something, but I don't see, for example, nowadays the games have so much current things that are happening. They have too much of this social stigma on them, that you have to have this and that. When there was games before, and you had, like, I don't know, there was a guy and a girl from outer space, you didn't even think about much of them. You would just, okay, there are these people that I play, and that's it. You didn't have to start thinking about their backstories so much, or why are they there or something. It was more like, oh, it's pretty cool, they can shoot lasers or something. And I kind of miss that world, that things were simpler. Yes, as I think it's a very common argument for people who get older and older, that, oh, but things were better back in the day. Yes, many things were better, but at the same time, simpler doesn't equal better. That games are better today, I think. That, for example, the games that we used to play, they were pretty simple, but at the same time, they were so mechanically nice to play that even today you can still play some of those games. When in fact that you have games that come out recently, and they are pretty much like, if you think, for example, NHL, the EA Sports NHL, like, do you really care if you play the latest or the previous one? I mean, does it really matter? I mean, yeah, you can get roster updates to other one, and what has changed? I know that, for example, back in the day, hey, hey, old guy shouting at the cloud, but back in the day, there used to be like, I don't know, Mega Man or something like that, that was pretty similar by the concept, but it wasn't that similar. At least there was different themes on the levels and stuff. And of course, when you think about things that are like from decade to decades ago, there is only those dedicated fans who still keep those forums and those communities alive when other people, majority of people, have moved on to the next thing and the next and the next by that time. So I think this whole thing about if you think why the games are not as fun as they used to be, is because you had to rely a lot on your own imagination and your own interest, and you didn't have to rely so much on telling you so like, how would I say this, like, do this and do that and that's the correct thing to do. You could do anything you want, really. Nobody was judging anybody. Like, it was just do the thing you like. I remember when Doom came out and you could start making your own levels and people were doing really wacky levels, and nobody was saying things like, oh, but you have to do a certain kind of level to I don't know, to be at ease with the community somewhere. It was just about the game. Nobody cared. It was just do the thing you like, and that's it. At least in my friends or whoever I met, nobody had any problems with the levels or the themes or something. It was more like, let's try to make it as gruesome as possible. Let's put skulls on the wall, and that's great. I think this whole thing about greed and these big gaming companies trying to make games that are, you know, super duper realistic and really, I don't know, they have so many things happening them, and then I would just like to tone it down a bit, because first of all, how good can the graphics be? I was just reading in the news that the Unreal Engine is used a little bit so when it comes to the, was it TLL, TDD, TXS? That they just kind of blur some of the rough spots and it's kind of lazy kind of coding. And I don't know, it's just, if you are playing already on 1080 or yeah, 4K is one thing, but 1440, I think you're in pretty good shape. I don't think you need to have any more, at this moment at least. But at the same time, I don't think you need to be on 8-bit also. I think the whole thing about why the games don't feel as interesting, or why the games that I used to play were nicer in a way, that the fondness of those memories is still there. That I remember that young kid playing those games. And at the same time, the games now, yes, there is lots of better games, but at the same time there is this kind of over how would you say, there's too many of them basically. That there's too many games and they're too expensive, and they are too much relying on things that are secondary to the game itself. Just my 2 cents. Thank you.